Well, hi everybody. This is the first time I think I've done a presentation to all of you completely virtually. I did do a book launch that was partly virtual. So welcome to my talk on book marketing with the help of Rosie, Maria's cat, who's modeling my book very nicely. I thought I'd introduce myself. Some of you know me, but some of you don't know me, even if you know me, it's always good to introduce yourself. So I'm Louisa. Um, I've got almost 13 years actually and counting of communications and marketing experience. I've worked for companies such as some companies you may have heard of, such as Holiday Extras, the Civil Service. I was under the Department for Transport for nearly 4 years. Monarch Airlines and Cosmos Holidays, actually the same company. And I'm currently working for DB Schenker, which is a freight and logistics operation under the German railway. And just a little disclaimer, I'm not talking to you on behalf of any company today. I'm just talking to you on behalf of myself and my own experiences. As well as being a professional communications and marketing professional, I'm also an author. I've been marketing my own book, How to Leave a Group Chat, for about the last year and a half. It was published in June, but I began working on this well before then. And a few of the small things. I'm Welsh. I love traveling. I love writing and being outdoors, doing yoga. And you can see in the photos a few of the things that I get up to. So today's talk, I'm going to go through a kind of beginner's checklist, what you should know as a beginner, what you should kind of start setting up um, at different stages on your publication journey, or preferably before your publication journey. I'll talk you through social media. I'll talk about SEO, which some of you might have heard of, but may not be so familiar about what that is. I'll talk a bit about bookshops and libraries, how to approach them, how to get into them, how to sort of partner up for events. I'll talk a bit about PR, so I think it's quite important. And I'll also talk, because a lot of what I'm going to talk to you about is very time consuming. So I'll talk about sort of how to go about it if you don't have the time to market. Lots of us have busy lives, and kind of what to look for if you're looking for someone to take on a task, be it marketing, be it website building, SEO, whatever that is. And of course, I really hope that you'll have a lot of questions for me, and maybe I'll have some questions for you as well, and we can share our experiences. So the purpose of this talk is really to signpost. I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail about methods and tactics and the ways to actually do things. It's more to signpost you to the right, to kind of have an idea of how to go about something rather than to actually how to go into, yeah, how to do it in great detail. So I hope this will be really helpful. And finally, I'll just point out that I'm not offering to market any of your books at the moment or do any marketing for you, because I already have a full-time job, and marketing my own book is essentially my second job. So I do not have time to do any marketing for anybody else right now. And as you can see in the photo with Paddington, there's going to be a lot of shameless product placement in this presentation. So sorry, not sorry. Okay, beginner's checklist. I think it's really important that you start thinking about having a website from quite early on. It takes time to build up a web presence. You don't just get a website and all of a sudden all the traffic just starts coming to you. The internet needs to know you're there. You need to kind of establish yourself online so that you start ranking, and there's different tactics you can do to help you do that. But it's really important to get the website up and running as quickly as possible. Even if it's just a small site to start with, and sites always grow according to the need, but it's really important that you get a website. Another reason to have your own website and why that's so important is because you can't just rely on a third party company. You can't just create a Facebook page as your author page and expect that Facebook's never going to go under. Facebook's never going to have a malware attack. You're not going to lose anything, because once it's gone, it's gone. So it's really important that you have a base, kind of like your own home, for being an author. And so if you can't do that yourself, not everyone's that techie, find somebody. But if you do want to have a go yourself, WordPress has some templates that are free to start with, or you can set up a domain name for quite cheap, at least for the first year. So it's worth definitely checking out. So I mentioned websites. What should be on your website? You should definitely, of course, have a homepage, which should really kind of showcase a lot of the things that you're doing. There should definitely be an about page about you, about the kinds of things you're writing, just a little kind of mini CV, if you like, about you as an author. If you're thinking about doing events, if you're going to do book signings, or author appearances at libraries or literary festivals, there should definitely be an events page, so people know what you're doing when, so it's like really clear. A portfolio of your work is always quite good. If you've got some books already, you can signpost to them on Amazon or wherever they are. If you've written blogs, if you've won competitions or been featured in papers, like showcase all of this on your website. A blog, and that's sort of my next point as well, but you can either have the blog on your website or link to a blog. A media center of some kind is useful to set up quite early on. It doesn't have to be a lot, but this is where you can keep press releases. This is where you can keep some images that you wouldn't mind journalists pinching for the papers. It makes it much easier because journalists they're under a lot of time pressure. They can just go to your website and download it. I myself often go to media centers for companies if I'm featuring them, for example, Apple in competitions, or I've worked in a previous role, I worked really closely with Merlin Entertainments, and I was always kind of reviewing and advertising their products. So to go to their site and download the images instead of having to contact the press office and ask for images, it just makes life like so much easier. So I really recommend that you do put a few downloadable things on your site, and make sure there's a way to get in touch. Because you never know when somebody might come across your site. They might like a blog post you've written and want to know who you are and use you to feature in something else. So have an email address on there, have all your social links on there so that people can get in touch with you. And then there's just general kind of legal stuff like a privacy policy. Most of them are the same. You probably have a standard one given to you on WordPress or something like that, or a developer can help you there. I keep saying WordPress, that's very much an industry like standard to use. And then blogs. Blogs are another great way to like show your wisdom. You can show your author journey. You can just do general musings as an author, the fun parts about, yay, I've written 5,000 words today, or just anything really just to increase your web presence, to get you out there, get you noticed, have something to share. Set up social media. I would honestly say get on as many networks as you can, because especially when you're going out for promotions, you don't know, people use all kinds of combinations of social media. So if you've got all of them, then whether they want to promote you on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you're ready to go and you're ready to share as well, which will really help you get the views. Not everyone's into videos, but if you can get some made, if you can get some footage of you at an event or some kind of book trailer or just anything really that's promotional, it's good to try and get rankings on like Instagram, TikTok, but certainly have a YouTube channel, because I think that's kind of the basic website where you should put your videos. And even if you're not quite published yet, if you kind of see it's on the horizon, start planning, start thinking about the events you could do. Some things are date bound, like literary festivals. Start looking into those, gathering your contacts, reaching out, and just start generating like interest start making those connections so that you're kind of ready to go. Because certainly for me, when I was looking into literary festivals, I did it a bit too late, if I'm honest. I got one last year, I've got one coming up this year. Um, there's a lot of actually of literary festivals across the UK. They're constantly kind of running, but you do have to apply to them quite far in advance. So yeah, start putting all these things into place to get yourself in a really good stead when you actually come to publish your book. So social media, as I said already, you don't know who you're going to partner up with. You don't know which channels they're going to use. So get on all of them as many as you can. The ones that are video heavy, maybe you want to look at later, but certainly Twitter. Twitter unfortunately has taken a bit of a hit because of Musk, but it's still pretty strong for books, for authors. Blue Sky is quickly growing. You may have seen about it in the media. Blue Sky is kind of sucking up all of Twitter's followers, and some channels, some media outlets are saying they won't be on Twitter anymore. They're moving to Blue Sky, so it's definitely worth getting in on that. Facebook, in my experience, Facebook's not my best performer as a main platform. However, I found that the groups are fantastic. You can post information about your book into different relevant groups, and that's got me quite a few hits on Substack and quite a bit of attention and shares. So if anything, it's worth doing it for the groups as well. LinkedIn, I would say, is definitely my best performer. That could be because the nature of my book, it's about communications and technology, and it's a bit more academic, you could say. So that could be why LinkedIn's working really well for me. And also that's where people tend to network. So definitely get yourself a LinkedIn profile. If anything, it shows that you're a professional, regardless of the types of books that you write. Instagram is a great showcase for images, also for video, but it's very image heavy. So you can put your covers on there. You can put your if you attend an event, you can get some nice professional looking pictures, or semi-professional pictures on there. So it's incredibly visual. And just with your social, just experiment, try things. Keep an eye on the hashtags that are trending. If you see, I've often had a lot of success on Twitter when a hashtag has been trending, and I've kept an eye on what's trending and just thought, oh, could I have a video that could be vaguely related to this hashtag and stick it out there? Or could I somehow twist some wording around my book to make it relevant to this hashtag? And it actually does quite well for the engagement. So just experiment, really, see what works, post at different times, and start picking up on, look at the analytics as well. All the socials come with their own analytics, and then just sort of kind of develop a plan and sort of shape it around what you see is doing really well. With so many different social platforms, ideally you should post once a day. This can be difficult, so you can schedule posts in advance. Twitter and LinkedIn have this feature. Blue Sky doesn't yet, unfortunately. Facebook, you can post, but you have to have it can't be from your main profile. It has to be from a sort of sub page. But if you had a sub page about your book and it was dedicated to your book, that would be easy to do. So you can schedule stuff in advance. It's really helpful. Or you can invest in or try out a third-party tool such as Hootsuite, which might give you a free trial as well. And they will also give you additional analytics. And because these programs are covering so many social channels at once, they've got pretty good insight into when things are best posted. And don't forget that when you hand over, when you're trying to get engagement from others, don't forget to share yourself. I have had quite a few people actually because I'm running a blog as well on Substack, and I've had a lot of guest bloggers, and they've been very excited and very eager to get posts to me, but not all of them have been that great at sharing. And we could really, with the level of followers they had, we really could have increased the reach as well. So don't forget that it's also on you to an extent. On social as well, think about how you present yourself. You might find that your main account is a bit too personal. You might want a separate account for the book or to present yourself as an author. So have a different persona in a way, and also consider who you're connecting with on that on that profile too. So maybe you want that profile to be a bit less political or not connected to some things that certain people could perceive to be sensitive in nature. And I would say, yeah, to keep so to increase visibility, I'd say share, don't like. Likes are okay in the algorithm, they help, but sharing is really what gets you seen. So, use each other and share each other's posts rather than just liking them because it's quite a lot weaker. And don't worry, follower numbers take time to grow, but really look for those interactions because you could have you could have like 500 followers and only a small percentage of those might be interested in buying your book. But if you really get a good interaction and engagement, you're more likely to have people actually do what you want because people often on social media they're not really checking profiles, they're looking at the feed, they're scrolling the feed, they're seeing what comes up. So it's definitely the engagements that are more important in that respect. Okay, SEO. So what is SEO? SEO stands for search engine optimization. And basically, it's the art of tailoring your writing to accommodate search engines. I'm just going to give you a brief overview here. So it's essentially a way of just writing that makes your pages more discoverable, favorable to the search engines. So the bots behind the scenes, they have a better idea about what your page is about. So you're more likely to come up when somebody searches. An example that a former boss gave me, when Michael Jackson died, which was a huge world event, were you likely to go to Google and search for something like Wacko Jacko Snuffs It? Or were you likely to go to Google and search for Michael Jackson dies, Michael Jackson dead, that kind of thing? So actually SEO is an incredibly logical tactic. And you want to rank first on Google for your targeted search terms. You'll see on the right here, I've got an example. It's quite an old example about a page that's trying to rank for chocolate donuts. So you can see they've used chocolate donuts in the URL. They've used chocolate donuts in the metadata. Sorry, over here first in the metadata behind the scenes, in the description. The headline's got chocolate donuts, and then throughout the body text, you've got chocolate donuts, donuts, chocolate donuts. So you take a keyword or two, which you can find through things like Google Keyword Planner once you have a website and it's all kind of hooked up. But now we're getting a bit technical. But once you've got your keywords, and very often they're logical keywords, you basically just try and write and change the way you write the page so that the page optimizes for your keywords. And hopefully when people put in that search term, you'll be on the first page. So bots have become more intelligent, and AI is definitely providing new ways to do SEO. You can instruct AI to optimize the page, but for now, it's still an advantage if you can kind of weasel out these keywords and find out what they are. And in the slides, I've linked to a free course that just basically goes through SEO and teaches you about it, or you can hire someone to kind of do the SEO on your behalf. And I guess another tip is to Google yourself, because as you become an author, as you appear at more events, as you're featured in more articles, as you've got more things on Google, you're gonna grow, and it's really interesting to see what people are seeing, to see where you're appearing, and how you could kind of build yourself from there. So that's kind of SEO in a nutshell. So bookshops and libraries, these are kind of the golden tickets, I suppose. So first of all, if you I guess before you're published, I mean, I appreciate we don't all get to choose how we're published, but if you're thinking about how to go about it, um, libraries, at least the ones I've spoken to, they won't take self-published authors. And that might sound mean, but actually there's a good reason for that, because unfortunately, your book might be amazing, it might be self-published, it might be fantastic, but everybody's self-publishing. You've got everything from the best authors to the AI authors who haven't actually written a word themselves. So libraries, when they get self-published, they don't really know what they're getting, whereas a publisher has provided editing and proofing and all those checks that are really essential for a high quality book. So that's definitely worth taking into consideration. A good publisher should also get you into bookshops already, but that doesn't necessarily mean you'll be taken up by all of them. In my experience, independent bookshops are much more accommodating than Waterstones. I'm still waiting to get into Waterstones. Abergavenny Waterstones was lovely when I did the literary festival up there, but generally I'm just on Waterstones online. So independent bookshops are very accommodating, and the more you can reach out to, the better. I've also found that libraries have been really lovely. I've linked in my slides as well a very long list of UK libraries. The bad news is that you have to approach them manually. You have to go through a list of bookshop, where you have to Google the bookshops, or I don't know, I haven't found a list of bookshops, but you have to Google the bookshops. And I found a long list of libraries. So each one you have to email. My trick was to BCC. I did a few different versions of an email, and I BCC'd different groups. So the Welsh ones got a particular email, the ones that are more in my radius got a particular email, and the ones that are further afield got a slightly different email. So you can do this BCC, but it does take a lot of manual work. However, I found that they've been quite responsive, so it's worth it. It's hard work, but it's really, really worth it. So yeah, you have to approach them manually. And the good thing about libraries, at least they're grouped. So I think I saw a statistic, there's about 46,000 libraries or something in the UK. Even if you can get a fraction of them, it's pretty good sales. But they will be grouped, so Reading libraries, Surrey libraries, Wiltshire libraries, Oxford libraries, etc. So at least you only have to really contact the master libraries to try and get onto the catalogue. And there are some libraries that share catalogues with others as well. But whether it's a bookshop, whether it's a library, consider offering them a signing or some kind of event or co-promotion, because that will help your chances of actually getting in there. So if I go to the Bell Bookshop in Henley and I say, can I come, if you get some of my books in, can I come and do a signing? That's another 10 books that could have been sitting as stock with your publisher. So yeah, definitely think about ways that you can increase that. You can increase those chances of getting in those bookshops. As well, encourage pre-sales. If you're doing an event, if you're doing a book, if you're doing a book signing at our lovely Forebears, do some social posts and encourage people to buy your book ahead of time, to pre-order, so that at the event you've got even more books that you can sign, whether those people can actually come or not. But it's just about getting those books into hands. And contact local media, let them know that the event is happening, and get into the papers, get into the magazines, get on the radio. I'll talk about PR in the next slide, and how to do book signings as well. So when you're at a book signing, it's a strange one, because we've all seen the images of Harry Potter going on sale at midnight and queues of children round the block in their witches and wizard outfits. But your book signing as a smaller author is unlikely to be like that. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's unlikely. So you need some ways to engage with people. If you're just sat in the corner awkwardly looking at people coming in and out, you're not going to do very well. And I speak from experience. I've done a few book signings. So get creative. Chocolate works really well. At my sign, you can see I've got some chocolate on the table there. And at that signing in Henley, I actually offered a chocolate to Mary Berry. She was not there to sign my book. She didn't know who I was, but chocolates really work well to get engagement. if your target audience is an adult and they come with their children, offer chocolates to the kids will always take chocolate. It's just a really great conversation starter. Hi, would you like some chocolate? I'm here to sell my book, as cheesy as it sounds. And you really have to be salesy. You have to stand up, you have to approach people, watch how they're behaving in the bookshop, move your book around, see if you notice they're going to a corner, put a couple of your books in that corner. Is it going to catch their eye more? So think, and also just anything really for engagement. So again, at the Bell Bookshop, I did a competition where I hid £10 in one of the books. I put it in a card in an envelope, so people, just in case people look through the book to try and find it, because that wasn't the aim. But that, I think, encouraged some further sales as well, because people might have been getting a free book, one of them did. So yeah, that's a great way to encourage them to actually make the most of a book signing. Because if you're traveling for the bookshop, they want you to sell, and you don't want to sit there for an afternoon at a bookshop and not sell any books. So yeah, get out there and just, you have to approach people in that way, however uncomfortable, that may feel, and it does feel strange at first. Okay, PR. So any publicity is good publicity. So I would try and go for anything that you can find. Find things that are relevant to your book, but also think about other things. So Source Bottle is a brilliant website. All the media is on there, everything from influencers, magazines, newspapers, television, bloggers, like everything. So and it's free, so I'd absolutely recommend seeing what's on there. And it changes all the time. And it doesn't matter, even like a lot of the stuff on that site's actually in Australia, but that doesn't matter because you're still going to get onto the television or on a blog or in a newspaper. And it's something you can then share on social. You can maybe even blog about the experience on your blog, on your website. So yeah, don't worry too much about where the publicity is, because we're living in a global world. And your book as well, once it's gone on sale, just because it's got a UK publisher, it's going to end up on websites around the globe, most likely. So take advantage of all of those opportunities. And through this website, Source Bottle, I got onto Australian television. So yeah, dream big. She Source, I've tried that. I haven't had much luck from it yet, but I think I'm afraid men, I think it's only a women only site, but for the ladies, it positions you can sign up as to be an authority on something. So you can sign up and talk about your experience, and then if journalists might use it to find you, to contact you about a subject. I think beyond your book as well, for She Source, for Source Bottle, if you're on Source Bottle and there's an advert for, I don't know, mums whose children are really scared to go to school on the first day, or they've had a lot of articles about travelers or Christmas gone wrong, worst holiday, anything that you can just talk about, just go for it, because you can always present yourself as, I'm this author who this crazy thing has happened to, and here I am talking, and now the world is knowing my name. I guess a good example would be Brian May from Queen. He's a rock star. He's also an astronomer, and he also campaigns for badges. You can get known for a few things, and to be honest, they all just kind of build your profile and make you more personable. So use your own network as well. We've got each other. Use influencers and bloggers. We've got Maria on the call, who's got a lovely podcast. So I was one of her first guests, and she talks to people who have businesses and do things around Reading. So talk to Maria if you're interested. But yeah, podcasts are another thing to try. Have a look online, have a look on social, see who's doing what. Look for these influencers who might be doing something in line with your book, or just generally review books. I got on one with Two Girls One Pod, and they reviewed my book, and it went to thousands of followers, thousands of listeners. And then once you've got events, once you've got interesting things happening, send out press releases. Again, it can be quite manual, and for me that's worked the best. So find local papers, find big papers, big, small, send them emails, say, hi, I'm Louisa and I'm releasing a book. Hi, I'm Louisa and I'm in Henley and I'm doing a signing. Put that in your paper. Encourage, it helps encourage people to go. It gives you something to share. It gets the word out. I've successfully been in a few papers for every event that I've done, and I will keep doing that. So yeah, definitely make the most of press releases. You can use a site like Pressloft as well. They offer a free 60-day trial, so they're definitely worth checking out, even if you don't use them long term, it's definitely worth it. And they're essentially like an online press office, so you can upload a press release, write a release and send it out to like thousands of media outlets at once. So yeah, you can so that I would absolutely recommend whatever you're doing, if if it's interesting, try and get in the papers, try and get in the magazines. You've got BBC uploads, try and get on the radio. All of these things like will come together and be very good for your book. Like I said, we're busy people. Not all of us have time to spend every weekend do putting this together to actually do our own marketing all the time, because I'll admit that's pretty much all I do at the moment. So if you don't have time, just hire somebody. You can try websites like Fiverr and Upwork. You've got all kinds of people from the very good to the not so good. So just have a look through, see who's doing something that you like, have a look at some of the case studies and see, the reviews and see what they're doing, and they can create things for you at a low price. And decide as well, do you mind trying a marketing student at Reading University to see if they can put together a marketing campaign for you on the cheap? It might be an option, it might get you some results. Or do you want someone who's like really professional, who's done a lot of marketing and had a lot of results, and you want to try someone a bit more highbrow? So that's up to you to decide. But if you want to try someone who's more highbrow, look for someone with a professional website, a good looking website. You can contact them. I would urge you to ask as many questions as you can. Ask them to talk you through what they've done for other people, read their case studies, Google them, look at any guest blog posts they might have done, check out their LinkedIn. Really scrutinize them before committing to anybody. And start small. You can start with a small campaign. You could just have a 6-week Facebook campaign to increase your followers, or maybe you want a carousel paid social media campaign and you want them to run it for you, and you just want to test the water and see how many hits you can get, how many books you can sell, things like that. Talk to them about if there's any predictions. I mean, no marketer can guarantee that you will sell, make money, because maybe your product isn't quite resonating for whatever reason, so there's no guarantee ever. But yeah, start small and really scrutinize them before going ahead. And I would say that also goes for your publisher. So if you've got a full publishing contract, an advance maybe, and the marketing's included, obviously go for it. If it's hybrid, I would honestly talk to the publisher, ask if you can talk to the marketing team, and ask what they can do for you. What is their plan? What have they done for other authors? Will they actually get you in front of anybody? Because in hybrid, you're still paying half, or you're still paying a percentage. So do you want to actually pay for that marketing, or do you want to find someone else who's got a great website and lots of case studies and has done marketing for big brands or something? Because to be honest, in my case, I've done way more marketing. My publisher could only offer me 6 weeks and I only got one radio interview out of that. So for me, that wasn't really worth it. And like I said, there's no guarantee, but if they can't tell you from the beginning what their plan is, you might be better off finding somebody else who can do it for you. And also, when you go onto social media, if you say that you want, if you ask any questions about marketing, or even just for having a book out, you'll get so many messages from people that will tell you they can do wonders for you, make magic. And sometimes they would just, sometimes they try and be charming and they'll just be like, oh, hi, it's great to connect. How are you? I want to talk about your book. but really they want to make money out of you. So never go for anybody like that. Always do your own research and find your own marketer. And I've put some recommendations at the bottom. Most of them are okay, most of them are Australia, but unfortunately a lot of the people I know who are good work for companies. I don't know many marketers or SEO professionals who've gone solo. But yeah, one guy I will recommend is a guy I used to work with at Monarch. His name's Sam. Whole of the Moon Marketing, and he's got a pretty good website. He seems to have a pretty good client list. So he's worth checking out if you're thinking of paying someone to do some marketing. He's somebody you could approach. But of course, feel free to try the marketing department at Reading University or Fiverr, Upwork, and see who's out there, compare how much prices are and what they can offer, and then make your own decision about what you want to try. So that's the end of my slides, actually. So I think that's quite a lot of food for thought there. So yeah, that was just an overview of marketing. And yeah, do you have any questions?